the Race to World First events. We've seen a lot of teams now coming up with their own production. We've seen BDGG, Aversion with their, over having their German production. Obviously, Echoes and Limits and countless others. How has it been for you guys, OTK, coming up, creating your I guess, full organization, and then kind of supporting this event? Are you guys happy with what you've been able to pull off so far? Are you happy with this first attempt?
Yeah, we are. I mean, honestly, I think that we would have been happy with anything. I'm sure, as you guys know now, because you're doing your event too.
Chat, welcome in to our second episode of the Peace of Mind talk show. I am your host, Psybearslat, and I am welcoming you all to a great night discussing Mythic Plus across the course of BFA, and of course, moving on into Shadowlands, our much anticipated World of Warcraft expansion.
To like single side funnel, basically.
Yeah,
DH needs a buff. Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, what the?
I thought it was that Andy's such a squishy tank that he needed the Hellstones to help him stay alive in the pools, but maybe not.
Yeah, it did definitely help.
So, yeah, we've just seen a clip as we introed into this section. We saw the Method EU, now Wunderbar, and Method NA, Golden Guardians. We've seen the dominance of them in a lot of these tournament settings so far. What do you think has kind of been like their secret to success so far, Tettles? And do you think, I know there's teams like Perplex and stuff like that that are doing very well as well, but what do you think is kind of like the case of the dominance of the scene currently, Tettles?
In some detours, but they're going to both be clashing here, and it's going to be crazy to see.
An interesting thing I wanted to jump in on there is the fact that these teams have already played each other, and in our map pool, the first game for the grand finals is Tal'Dazar. The only game that Pain for Fem took off Self-Perplexed wasn't a Tal'Dazar. So that could be a very interesting play out in this grand finals, but I just wanted to kind of throw that in.
Cyber, you've seen a bunch of them today. What are your thoughts on them as a team? Do you think they can really take the rest of the day off, look at the mistakes they're making, and come back through the lower bracket?
Knowing Pain for Fem as a team, I don't think they'll be taking any time off tonight. I think they'll be hammering it pretty hard until the early morning. In the lower bracket is going to be an interesting one. I definitely think that we've seen some surprise plays from teams such as Size Doesn't Matter taking a win off. I believe it was Self-Perplexed that they were able to do that against, though it could be, Self-Perplexed there. So we have seen some hiccups from some of these teams. I think in terms of consistency, Pain for Fem will do very well in the lower bracket, and we could potentially see them in those lower finals. I definitely don't think this is the last that we'll see of them. All right, welcome in, gentlemen. We've got Andy, Wildy, and Fem all here. Three of the best Prot Warrior tanks in the world here joining us this evening. Are we going to see it pulled with first boss as we saw yesterday, or do you think they're just going to kind of go a little bit smaller here? Looks like
they're rolling all in because they had some practice in this. They had some practice.
Divine's definitely going for it. Azrael playing a little bit smoother, but we know that Divine, even though that they're pulling this first boss here
and
with
the
some
bust is going off, of course.
potential master deep. I'm holding my breath. I'm waiting for it. I want to see it. We can see the Demon Hunter peeking up at 1.5 mil. Waith up here with a 2.4 mil, but and everything, it's gone. It's done. Divine's team looking low on health, and Faith, he takes a tentacle slam to the head, but he says, you know what? It's fine. It's fine.
It's just a 19. I can get a little slap.
Just another day at the office, eh? Just another day for the dirty boys, the dirty four here.
They're going to have to pick that up. But on the side of BDGG, we see this big pull that they're going into here that we are very fond of and very used to by now. They've got to be very careful with these bursting stacks. Those slimes go down. Anyone in line of sight just gets blasted by that AoE effect. And then on top of that, there's the bursting. But they do very well here. Tarasen is just doing a solid job at keeping everyone alive, proving that you don't always need that Mistweaver monk. You can opt for the druid, and he's still pumping up on the healing, still pumping some decent damage. He was above 100k. Like, that's some decent damage for the fact that there was so much AoE damage going out on the rest of the groups. They might be overcapped on trash at that point. Actually, they might not need anything else for the rest of the dungeon. That's insane. They're at 42% enemy forces. They proc 2 reaping waves. I don't even know what happens in that situation. Do they get both sets of reaping, or does the game just say, you know what, just take the one. I'm going to give you a freebie. You can have that. Take the change. That wasn't... phenomenal.
I honestly don't know. So it appears we've still got Reaping trailing, but that was disgusting. I actually feel violated after watching that. That was absolutely disgusting. This is going to be a really big pull out into Courtyard again. This is a big pull, and it's Tyran, but this is still dangerous.
Exactly, and they have the matron here with Raging and Necrotic to deal with. Obviously, they've got this Prompt Paladin, so if the stacks get too heavy, they've got access to the bot. They don't have access to. Oh, we almost have the healer go down. Season there almost dipping. He must have had aggro from all that DPS he's pumping out. Well, he's not quite managing to get any DPS out, but he's definitely getting some healer aggro there. As I say, the matron here just about to rage. Then we have this Reaping wave come in. It's very, very scary at this point in time. Are they going to chain it onto the boss? Maybe once that matron is down and out, but at the moment, I think they're just hanging on for dear life. As I mentioned, with the Prop Paladin, they don't then need that, opting for the Prop Paladin instead of, say, the Warrior or the Prop Warrior. They don't need the Holy Paladin or even, I guess, the Mistweaver Monk. They can save those for other dungeons that they might want that, priority healing on. So instead, this Prop Paladin, I think, is a really good play and a really good pick in this style of tournament that we're seeing here.